My God, I hate drugs.
Te, bagsak ka sa history. Te, bagsak ka sa history. Huwag niyo kasing gaguhin yung taong bayan. There is a historical record of what happened. Para yung mga taong bayan, hindi naman sila nagbumukhang tanga na kung ano-ano pinagsasabi. Dahil sa mga pinagsasabi ninyo na pinagkakatiwalaan nila, merong history kung anong nangyari dyan. Diba? And then, you know, Marcos, because he was preparing he wanted oil for the country, you know, maging self-reliant tayo, and then there were like ugong-ugong that Spratly Islands were like rich in oil. You know, he joined the territorial contest, diba? Pero, you know, the difference between you guys, kayong mga Dilawan, and Marcos Sr., the father of the guy that you cheated and that you hate, the difference between you and him is that Marcos Sr. had no delusion, you know? Marcos Sr. had no delusion that those islands are ours. What he was doing was like, he was like joining the contest. He knew what it takes in order to get those islands, that you need to fight, right? Engage in a contest who would have effective occupation of those islands. Pero walang delusion doon si Marcos Sr. na katulad mo, Leni, na yung island na yon ay inagaw sa atin ng China or whoever. Because when we entered, because we were already quite late in the territorial contest. Nag-una nga ang nag-aaway dyan, China and France. Diba? So, papaano ngayon sa'yo aagawin? 1970s ka nga nag-join ng territorial contest, while China and France were already having a battle over it at least as early as 1930s. Bakla, ano ba? Huwag mo nga kaming baklain, Leni. Nakakaloka ka, te. Diba? And this, ang daming libro about this. So ganun ang nag-umpisa yan, ate. Diba? So, walang inagaw. Walang ganon. You have to clarify things. You have to be like Marcos Sr., no? Marcos, Ferdinand Marcos, the guy you hate most. You have to be like him na you have no delusion, right? You have no delusion that it was ours from the get-go. No, it wasn't. No, we are engaging in a territorial contest. Ngayon, if you gonna frame this way, you know, lahat tayo ay may himasmasan, di ba? Na hindi ito katulad ng Pilipinas, for example, hindi ito katulad ng Cebu or ng Leyte na pumunta mga Espanyol na may mga nakatira, inagaw sa atin ng Espanya at nagkaroon ng battle for independence in order to kick out Spain from it. Hindi ito katulad nun, te. Hindi. Kaya ikaw, huwag puro merienda, magbasa ka, Leni Robredo. Diyos ko, day. My God, nakakahiya ka. Magbasa ka. Kaya nga, you know, Diyos ko, day, tigilan nyo yan. Kayong dalawa ni Risa, magbasa kayo. Ako, hanggang June 15 ako dito sa Philippines. Ano na to, tulong ko na lang to para sa bayan, para naman yung mga ibubuka ng bibig ninyo ay may sense. I will volunteer myself na i-educate kayo sa history ng ating claim over the Spratlys, 'di ba? Yung pinagbabasihan nyo ngayon, yung UNCLOS, it became effective 1994. Pero girl, sa international law, juridical facts must be adjudged according to the time that they arose. So hindi mo po pwedeng retroactively apply UNCLOS to the time that you made the claim in 1970s. Hindi ganun yon. Bakla. Kaya nga you know, a lot of legal scholars said na the arbitration decision never really resolved anything kasi the fundamental issue is who has sovereignty over this area and this reef, diba? And the arbitration decision never resolved that. And kung sakali mang magkaroon ng resolution, may nagdemanda, Vietnam sued the Philippines sa ICJ, sa International Court of Justice, over sovereignty, over sovereignty. Sinasabi ko kayo, the Philippines will lose. The Philippines will lose. I think we'll lose at least 3 occupied features natin to Vietnam. Ganon. Magbasa kayo, te. Puro merienda. iniisip nila na dahil makipag-alliance ka ng US, you can control the United States about, can you tell the United States to bomb those installations? No, because the United States will decide according to its national interest and not what you and not according to what you like, right? If the interests of the United States mean that it should have a closer relationship with China in order, for example, to contain Russia, it would do it. It has done it before already, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So, you will not have an independent action apart from the interest of your powerful alliance. So, ito mga nagsasabi na forming alliance with these powerful nations would be the answer. You're stupid and you have not learned from history, or perhaps you haven't studied international history and you haven't studied how alliances work, right? Gusto ko po. Ngayon, sabi nila, we just have to deepen our alliance with the United States. Sure. But the problem is, di ba yung iba sinisisi na wala kasi yung US base kaya nag-ano ang China, etc. Well, papakita ko lang to. I'm just gonna show my face para naman para hindi lang boses ko naririnig nyo. Sandali lang po. Well, remember, those who know the history of the Spratly Island conflict, Vietnam is actually an enemy of the United States during that time, right? Nag-war nga sila especially that Vietnam was allied with Soviet Union. Ngayon, the US had military bases in the Philippines. Ngayon, kung nakikita nyo, that blue line is the Philippine claim line sa Spratlys. If you can see the red dots, yan ang mga occupied features ng Vietnam. And they are occupying features that we are also claiming. Ngayon, itong occupation ng Vietnam na ito, nangyari to while the US had bases in the Philippines. Powerful bases nga Kasi nga, 'di ba? Minsan nga merong mga nuclear-enabled ships dyan, etc. Nuclear-enabled bombers, I think. Pero they had nuclear weapons. Diba? Pero tingnan nyo, Vietnam was able to occupy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 features, and a lot of them are militarized, while the United States had bases in the Philippines. So, if the United States wasn't able to prevent Vietnam to do that while they had bases, full access in the Philippines, what do you think the United States can do against China, which is more powerful than Vietnam? Diba? Can we all be realistic? What exactly? Kaya nga sabi ni MDS ni Miriam, wala namang silbi tong alliance natin. Pero hindi ito ginawa example ni MDS itong encroachment ng Vietnam. I remember during that time kasi China and US were friends. Yung Vietnam yung tinuturing na threat ng United States. But still, even though it considered Vietnam as a threat, it allowed Vietnam to really expand in the Spratlys. So, ano ngayon yung silbi nung military base nila noon if the United States wasn't able to prevent this? And now, people are thinking that it could prevent China from militarizing its occupied features. And the United States wasn't able to prevent Vietnam to militarize most of its occupied features na even within our claim line. In fact, while the United States had bases in the Philippines, it wasn't able to prevent Vietnam from seizing or capturing a feature that we occupied during the time. It was during the time of Marcos. It wasn't able to prevent that. So, what can the United States prevent? Tell me. Sabi nila, the United States can prevent war. Hello, Vietnam and China fought war in the Spratlys while the US had bases in the Philippines. It wasn't able to prevent that. Why is the United States not mingling there? Because it is not in their interest, di ba? So bakit ngayon sila bumabalik sa atin? It's because they would like to use our country use our country just like how it used it before as forward deployment for forward deployment purposes. For what? For the possible defense of Taiwan, for example. Kasi the United States is treaty bound to defend Taiwan just in case na magkaroon sila ng armed conflict ng China. And what would be the trigger of the armed conflict? If Taiwan declared independence from China. Yon ang pwede mag-trigger ng armed conflict. Kasi China would be forced to do what it has done to Tibet, to militarily occupy Taiwan. And of course, because Taiwan has military, Taiwan would not allow that to happen. So it's inevitable that there would be a clash. So yon. And actually, that's the core interest of China Taiwan. Not really Spratlys, and does not even have any ambition to invade the Philippines. My God, China had thousands of years to colonize the Philippines. It hasn't done so. Diba? Ano ba yan? Tapos ngayon, iisipin nila mag-colonize nila yung Philippines. For what? Diba? China had like billions of people to feed. And then, gusto mo i-colonize kanila, ano yung dagdag 100 million? If you colonize a country, that's your responsibility. That's just the way it is. Like, for example, US invaded Iraq. Iraq became the responsibility of the United States. Kasi nga, if you break it, you have a responsibility to fix it. Ganun yun. So, may ambisyon. Bakit? Ewan ko saan nila nakukuha yan. So yun nung, what can I say about alliance making? So, ano ngayon ang natin, ang dapat nating gawin? Well, the artificial islands are what we call fait accompli. I don't know if I pronounce it right. It's fait accompli. It's done. You cannot reverse it. And whatever you do, kahit maghangawa ka dyan, etc., it's done deal. There's nothing you can do about it. There was something that you could have done, but sabi nga ni Duterte, bakit hindi ginawa ng United States? 'Di ba? Na bakit hindi sila nag-naval blockade nung kasalukuyang ang China was still in the construction phase? Why didn't they block the ships, 'di ba, going to construct those islands? Why didn't they do that? Kasi nga, the official stand of the United States is that a country can only regulate the construction of islands that has something to do with marine protection and extraction of natural resources. But if the island has something to do with for military purposes, it's outside the scope of your regulation allowed by UNCLOS. That's the official stand of our ally, United States. So it's a fait accompli. Diba? So, yung iba sabi, paano yan? I-accept na lang natin. Ganyan. It's a threat. Then the best thing to do is to devise a creative way on how to turn that threat into an opportunity for the Philippines, right? And what is that opportunity? Well, in the first place, we have to think outside the box because we're thinking within the notion of claiming everything. But you cannot claim everything because you have powerful co-claimants. Na bago ikaw ang makapag-lay ng claim dyan, they are next in line. You kick out China, then the next most powerful claimant would occupy them, and that's Vietnam. So, kung gagawin mo is to claim everything, then at the end of the day, you would enjoy nothing. So what can we do now? What can we do now is to explore how we can use those islands for our common security interests. So what are our common security interests with China? Number one, against piracy. You know, the South China Sea, because of the burgeoning trade, because of the flourishing trade that passes through South China Sea, grabe ang piracy dyan. As in, grabe. So what we can do with China is that we can have joint anti-piracy efforts. And then we use those artificial islands as our bases, di ba? Our common base for our joint anti-piracy efforts in the South China Sea. Di ba? Number two, um, our common interest is drug trafficking that uses the sea as the root of the transaction. We can use artificial islands in order to combat drug trafficking that is coursed through the sea. So in that way, it's no longer a threat to you, those islands. Why? Because you are using it against a common interest that you share with someone that you once considered as your enemy. But now you're no longer enemy, but partners against a common security threat. Now, is it still a threat? No, because you have partner against a common security threat, right? So these are creative ways of dealing with those artificial islands. Yung mga nagsasabi na, pumunta tayo ng UN, reklamo natin. No, my God. Girl, the Philippines is a negligible trade partner to a lot of countries. China is a major trade partners to a lot of countries in the world. Ano ang laban mo sa economic statecraft ng China? Ganda lang? Saan ka nakakita na ganda lang? Di ba? Even ginagawa nilang, halimbawa, Nicaragua, kasi ganyan ang ginagawa ng Nicaragua noon eh. File ng resolution sa UN, dakdak ng dakdak. Eventually, walang nangyari. Ang nangyari, ginawa ng United States, nakialam siya sa internal politics ng Nicaragua. What the United States did was, it channeled US money to NGOs as a way to indirectly support the pro-US Chamorro. Sounds familiar, di ba? Parang USAID money lang sa Jerry Rojas Foundation. Charot! Pero ganun nga. Ganun yung nangyari. So, eventually, Nicaragua wasn't able to get what it wanted. The United States didn't pay reparation, but what it did was just like give it some aid. Tapos, even until the end, the United States didn't recognize the decision. And even Nicaragua withdraw the proceedings kasi mag-hearing pa nun about magkano babayaran ng United States. I think it was in the tune of billions. Pero hindi. Nicaragua withdrew it, and then Nicaragua just got economic, financial aid or whatever, and some loans from the United States. So, yon. So, yung strategy ninyo, palpak yan. Wala yan. It will not amount into anything. Instead of us devising more pragmatic and creative ways to deal with the situation, you are using tired, old, ineffective tactics. Kasi our main goal is to minimize the threat that China presents to us. So what you do about a threat, it's either you turn the threat into an opportunity or you eliminate the threat. You bomb it. Can you do that? Can you kill China? No, you can't. So what can you do? Then turn the threat into an opportunity. So another thing is that, you can pursue joint stewardship, diba? Joint stewardship. What is the concept of stewardship? Stewardship po is really applicable pagdating po sa nature, sa environment, di ba? One of the key issues sa South China Sea ay yung depleting fish stocks because of overfishing. So, instead of talking about who owns which is the essentially what sovereignty issue is, then you can transform the discussion into joint stewardship. Ibig sabihin ng stewardship po is joint responsibility in taking care of the environment. And we have to have that joint responsibility with them. Una, China has a powerful economy. It's a powerful, they probably fish more than any other coastal state in the South China Sea. So whatever they do would have an effect in the fish stock somewhere else, even though that they're only doing it in their own exclusive economic zone. So what we can do is that we can have joint stewardship with them in order to take care of the environment. We can do a lot of things in order to minimize the threat that China presents to us. And the best way is to turn that threat into opportunity. Diba? Kasi the other way to minimize threat, which is to bomb China, cannot do it, or kill China or threaten China with more powerful weapons, blah blah blah. Cannot do it. So we just turn the threat into an opportunity, turn the threat into a friend, a partner, a collaborator, and and maybe somewhere along the way, we could have a more amicable solution, a more winnable solution about ownership. Baka nga pagdating ng panahon, di na natin magiging yung issue yung ownership kasi we have been using the whatever structures there or whatever features for our common interest, di ba? So instead of itong mga kabaliwan, katontahan, kagagahan nila Leni, Rizal, Antiveros, we have to be more creative, di ba? Kasi this is the future of our country, and our country deserve the most creative way to handle our foreign policy. And that creativity can only spring from if we are going to search for solutions that's more pragmatic than idiotic than the idiotic strategy of the previous administration. 'Di ba? Ano ba nangyari dun sa arbitral decision? You know how much it cost? It's almost 1 billion pesos, the entire proceedings, ha? Sino lang kumita? The lawyer. Mahal ang bayad sa mga international lawyer, ha? Lalo na dyan kay Reichler, kay Paul Reichler. Mahal ang bayad sa kanya. He is, saan ba, ganito ang bayaran dyan, ha? I-email mo si Reichler for opinion. Bibigyan kanya, sasagot siya ng email. Ang bayad doon per line. Per line ng email. Mahal yan. So, siya lang talaga ang kumita, si Reichler. Siya ang masaya. Pero tayo, we are left with a decision that's worth nothing. Kasi wala namang actionable points. Diba? It's just like this. Dineclare ka ng court na ikaw ay pumatay. Totoong pumatay ka. Pero walang nakalagay sa decision kung ikukulong ka ba, magbabayad ka ba ng danyos, or whatever. Sinabi lang na pumatay ka. Parang ganun lang po yung nangyari. So, ayun lang po, and I hope I was able to contribute something significant to your knowledge about this issue. I will keep on talking about this and interviewing people who knows about this issue para po mas marami pong kayong malaman, and you can form your own decision about this matter. So mag-aral. Maraming salamat po at magandang gabi po uli sa inyong lahat.